Welcome to Unscripted. Today we have with us Zelia, who is the co-founder of a travel startup in Singapore called Anywhr. And you want to tell us what your startup does?
Yes.
Well, first of all, cheers.
Cheers.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Yummy. Hey, so you want to tell us what your startup does?
Yep. So Anywhr started about 4 years ago. We planned surprise travel, which means you don't know where you're going until you show up at the airport. And then this was a super spontaneous idea. Many people took it up, but we realized that it's a niche in a market facing the same travel pain point. So they can be people like my parents who are not so spontaneous,
right,
yet they still don't know where to go or want to try somewhere new instead of going to the same old places.
Right.
So we expanded to general trip planning and itinerary customization. So planning trips and recommend destinations for everyone. People who don't want to do research or want new ideas for their holidays.
Right. The thing that Zelia and I share in common is we love adventure travel and backpacking, which I know you have done quite a bit of.
Yes.
So maybe we can go way back and start from where were you born, where did you go to school, and how did you sort of end up here today?
And then my LinkedIn profile, right?
It can be your version,
Yes.
the real version of the LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, so I was born and bred in Singapore. I studied here, and I was working in hospitality for a while, worked for a 5-star hotel. Then after graduation, I quit my job and then decided
Graduation of university or college or?
University.
Yeah.
So I did.
What school did you go to?
I did a University of Manchester program in Singapore, SIM.
Right.
Then while working.
Yeah.
So it was together. Then after graduation, I quit.
Yeah.
And then basically just bought a one-way ticket to Europe.
Right.
It was supposed to be a 3-month trip.
Yeah.
So went to Sweden, did couchsurfing, and then lived in a forest for a bit.
A forest in Sweden?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was really cool. So I lived with a Dutch couple who set up a B&B in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So the entire town that I can't even pronounce the name of had just one small pizza restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone just lives there, walk the dog in the forest, and just hang out.
That sounds amazing.
So that's
that sounds
awesome.
like a really elevated version of camping.
Yes.
In a sense, right?
Yes. And I still think about that every day. It's really
I miss
beautiful.
that.
Yeah, and we did festivals whereby they had a little ice cream truck, and on Sweden's National Day, you had a Dutch couple, a Singaporean girl selling ice cream on Sweden's National Day. So that was beautiful.
So you were on Swedish TV?
No, just on my Facebook.
Right.
But yeah, we did that. Then lived in the cabin in Finland for a month as well, alone. That was really beautiful, driving through herds of reindeer. Went to Estonia.
You went to Estonia? You know we have a space in Estonia.
Yes, I know. It's so cool.
But there's not many people who know about Estonia.
Really?
Yeah.
But it's a startup
what year was
capital.
this?
4 years ago.
Wow, so that was pretty early. And what made you go to Estonia? Because that's not a common country that people choose to go to.
Honestly, I did not know it existed. I did not know a lot of places existed until I was there. So I went to Finland because one of my favorite bands from there. So I did a fangirl tour, went to see the castle the guy lived in, stuff like that. Then I realized there's a ferry from Finland to Estonia.
Right. It's 30 minutes across the river or the ocean, right? Yeah.
Then met some amazing people in hostels. I was really shy, so they.
Were you in Tallinn?
Yes, Tallinn.
Ah,
Yeah.
what hostel did you stay in? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but
Was
I can
it-
find it.
Was it Red Horse?
No, it's with a lot of suitcases. I think it's Suitcase Hostel or something.
Okay. I think they shut down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of hostels have shut down.
That was really nice. Yeah. So we did that, and then visited an abandoned prison by the beach. Yeah. And then.
So what made you do a one-way ticket to Europe? Because it was sort of open-ended. You didn't know how long it was going to be, or.
It was basically that period where I did not know what I wanted to do next because I was in HR, human resources.
Right.
That was my diploma.
Yeah.
And I did not want to do HR anymore. I didn't find myself suitable, so I did that to see what's up.
Right.
Right, and then it was there in Finland where I had literally nothing to do in the middle of nowhere. Then I applied for my master's. So my master's in NUS.
Right.
Then I did the interview for my master's while I was on a beach in Thailand, like a little island in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, so it was like a Skype interview?
Yes, did
Yeah.
a Skype interview. Then I got in, so I had to come back to Singapore to start my master's.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you worked in hospitality when you were studying in university. Why did you choose hospitality? Was that something you were interested in? Because clearly you're doing travel, which is sort of related. Did you always want to be in hospitality?
Not really, but I just fell into it. It was a great brand. I worked for the Hyatt Group.
Oh yeah.
So it was
That's
a great
good
brand. I had family who worked there before and it was familiar. I did a chat with the HR and they're awesome. They're still great friends today.
Yeah.
Like I just met some of them last week. One of my closest group of friends.
Right.
The people there have been working there since before the hotel opened, like
Right.
40 over years. So amazing brand, amazing group of people. So I stayed there. Yeah.
Right. And so then you went to, you came back to Singapore to do your master's. And what was the master's in?
Just a general Master of Science, like an MBA.
Right. Oh, so it was a business related master's degree. And then what?
Then coincidentally, one of my modules was about venture capital. So my
okay.
prof was a VC,
Yeah.
and then he talked about that and how startups were built, and it's about a small group of people just wanting to make a change, solve a problem, execute quickly. And I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly not what I have been doing, but
Right.
what I think I really want to do and what suits me. So
That's interesting. I also I have a similar sort of story in the sense that when I was doing my MBA at USC, I started taking classes in venture capital, in like entrepreneurship, and that's when I really got excited about what we're doing today. But yeah, it was sort of the genesis was in business school or in master's school. Just taking these classes sort of triggered that. Okay, so then after you graduated, did you then start Anywhr right afterwards, or?
it was during school. Then when I
So
heard
you started
about
in school?
startups, yeah, I heard about
okay.
Rocket Internet,
Yeah.
infamous.
Yeah.
So I applied for an internship there, and then I got it. So,
In Singapore?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I was working during my internship while I was doing my master's, and during summer I stayed there. And in my second semester, they offered me a full-time role.
Yeah.
So I joined Rocket.
Was that Rocket the sort of the parent company, or was that a specific startup within the Rocket group?
It's a specific startup called Vanny Day.
Vanny Day, the
beauty salon.
beauty
comparison.
salon marketplace, right? Are they still around?
Yes, they moved their HQ to Singapore, so now they're fully in Singapore.
Yeah.
So I joined them as one of their first Singapore employees,
Yeah.
launching the Singapore market.
Yeah.
Then stayed on for a bit. Then that's where I met my co-founder, Felix.
Oh yeah, Felix. I haven't
yeah.
seen him in a while.
He lost so much weight.
He did?
Yeah, he has abs now. Saying it on camera. But yeah.
So that's a good thing, I'm guessing,
great.
because he was never really fat.
Yeah.
He was always in good shape.
But
So
he
he's-
worked out during lockdown and everything.
Right.
So amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Felix, you gotta come show us your six pack.
Yeah, you can't gain it back anymore now that I've said it on camera.
Yeah, that's right. You got to keep the six pack on at least until I meet you.
Yeah, so that's when I met him.
Yeah.
He was head of ops, operations. I was head of marketing, good friends. Then we were just having drinks like now. And
Yeah.
then just, hey, I've got an idea. Oh, I've got an idea. Then suddenly Anywhr was born.
Right.
Yeah.
Seems like the most, I guess, general way of how companies get started is over drinks,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Hey, I have an idea for a company. Do you want okay, that's so then you guys, what made you decide on the travel industry specifically? Is it because you had just come traveling? Was Felix into traveling? How did you guys settle on the idea of doing Anywhr?
I think we both like traveling, similar with everyone. I got the idea based on my travels around Europe because like I was sharing, I did not know many of those places existed.
Right.
And if there was someone to just recommend them for me, because if I don't know they exist, I don't care where I go, as long as it suits me, my preferences, my budget, my interests.
Right.
And that is exactly what Anywhr did at the start.
Right.
So it's surprise travel and yeah.
So the idea came about because when you were traveling, you sort of had this need and you sort of settled on that and was Felix, was he excited about that
Yes,
in the beginning?
of course.
And
Yeah.
is he a traveler?
He travels.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when I shared the idea of him, we were sharing many ideas before.
Yeah.
And when I shared this idea, he just paused for a while, and then he said, yeah, that actually might just work. So then it was on.
Right.
You know, then we did the research and everything.
And so then you guys started, did you go out and raise capital first for it, or did you launch something and then, because I know you guys have raised institutional investment, right?
So we did not start by raising because we wanted to prove that this works, and it's something we wanted to do, and we still had our full-time jobs.
Right, so you were still working at Rocket.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we made sure it worked. It went on for about a year and a half before we decided to raise, to scale and build out product.
Yeah. You know, the Rockets has been a real sort of incubator for a lot of companies in at least this part of the world, right? Or maybe even in South America or in Africa. It seems to have spawned a lot of people who've started their own companies, right? When you were at Rocket or at Vanny Day, were there a lot of other people sort of going out on their own?
Yes, so after we started, 3 of our ex-CEOs now all have their startups. One of them was even based here. And then about 80% of our ex-colleagues all went to launch their own startups in different parts of the world.
80%?
Yeah,
wow.
So really amazing.
That's really, really awesome. What was a Rocket culture like?
As you can read on the internet,
Yeah.
pretty similar.
Yeah.
You know, just launch fast, test. It has good and bad. The launching team stayed till like past midnight almost every single day working.
Right.
But it was also amazing in the sense that we all just gathered to make things work.
Yeah.
There was no like admin or bureaucracy or red tape, just making things work.
Right.
Right, and just doing whatever works. So I was an intern, but everything I was doing, it's even like a manager level.
Yeah.
And now at Anywhr, we want to do the same for our interns.
Right.
To give them like the ability to execute, but
Right.
also with more guidance and helping them learn and grow as well.
Right. So Rocket is sort of notorious for this very cutthroat culture, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it seems like it's a place where, at least it seems like you've learned quite a few things in terms of launching products and just in business in general. Do you think that the Rocket experience helped you with launching your own thing?
Definitely.
Yeah.
A lot. And a lot of the things that we bring to discussion now in terms of culture or company execution still has its roots back to Rocket, whether it's things we want to use or things that we learn not to use.
Yeah.
You know, either way.
Right. So you and Felix, you guys met at Rocket, you decided to start a company, you launched something, and then can you tell us the progression of, that was 4 years ago?
4 years ago.
Yeah, and then how did that company progress, and where are you guys today? Because I know this must not be an easy time for travel. I know.
Yes. So we did surprise trips for some time only, and then we realized that when people are asking, hey, I want to go on a family trip to Japan, can you do it? And then we said no, because we only want to do surprise trips. We have our principles.
Right.
And then we realized we were idiots. Like, don't say no to money, don't say no to helping people, especially so many people out there.
Yeah.
So we expanded to plan all types of trips.
Right.
Yeah, so that was what we have been doing. We serve travelers from more than 23 countries worldwide.
Yeah.
Because it's global, right? Everything happens on the internet.
Right.
So we had customers from like even isolated parts in Sweden that was near Finland by the border that even DHL couldn't reach to deliver their like travel log, their itinerary. So
that's where Santa Claus lives, right?
I don't know. Actually, like we tried finding his location on a map. Yeah, so he booked a trip with us. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
When COVID happened, of course, some people think it's temporary, some, you know, and we were in the midst of experimenting, launching more features, products, doing user tests, but it's really hard to do that when there are no active users with an active need for your product.
Yeah.
So we think actually this year has been great in a sense that it helped us learn and grow exponentially. Like never before, right? Our entire team stepped up. We know where, which areas are bloated, which areas we needed to fix, what were the problems, what were the things we have been trying to deceive ourselves about the business, and just reworked everything.
Right.
So right now, what we are doing is doing a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. So working with companies, with airlines, to use our technology to help them adapt better. At the same time, also launching experiments, either within or out of travel, to see what else we can do to solve problems that will be more relevant.
Right. So when you Felix started you built some sort of a prototype and you went to market and it seemed like people wanted this service. At what point did you end up like raising external investments?
We raised only when we realized that we needed more technology to build a better product.
Right.
Because the page was built as an MVP, like on Squarespace.
Yeah.
Then we realized we needed some iteration, some ways to study and plan trips in a smarter way, in a more scalable way. That not only humans but humans plus machine.
Right.
And that was when we raised.
And that was in your first year, second year, or?
More than a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about second year.
Right. And you raised your seed round here in Singapore.
Yeah.
And who are you allowed to say who participated?
Yeah,
or?
so Crunchbase. So
yeah. Oh, okay. So it's public. Yeah.
Yeah. So Cocoon Capital.
Yeah.
And then also a lot of angel investors. We had Hustle Fund. And then subsequently we raised with Quest Ventures as well.
Also, with Quest it was another round. Yeah. So you did your seed round with Cocoon Capital.
It was like a pre-seed round and a seed. I mean, whatever you want to call it, it's equity.
Right.
Yeah.
So the pre-seed was, how much did you guys raise?
Undisclosed.
Undisclosed. Okay, gotcha. So it was Cocoon, Hustle Fund.
Cocoon only, and then Hustle Fund and all that came separately after.
Right. And then at what point did you raise from Quest? Was that a Series A, or like how do you?
Quest was more like a seed round.
Right.
A proper round for us to grow and experiment and build a product.
Right.
We actually did that in the midst of COVID.
Oh, really? So that was very recent.
Yeah, so we closed it during COVID, which was amazing and really good to know that we got the support and the guidance and the trust to build this out during this time.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. What was Quest's thesis in terms of investing in a travel company during these times?
Well, we had the relationship all along and were in talks even before COVID. And right now, I guess it's also belief in the founders and the team and also the problem that we are trying to solve and working together. So it's not just like an investor and startup relationship, but they were part of the team and they were all operators with strong exits. Right. So I guess we all believed that this could work and do it together. And
Quest, is Quest Ventures part of a larger corporate VC, or it's a standalone? Okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And so, what's the future plans for Anywhr?
So right now, we are working, like I said, with some airlines and some global companies to see how we can help each other, mainly the tech and the future of travel, like in the new normal. No one really knows what's going to happen, right? Like the airlines don't know. We all just look at each other and laugh during meetings because we can't guess which country is going to reopen. Yeah. So when we ask them, then they are clueless and we are clueless and we're all just taking bets. Right. Yeah. So working on some solutions for that and how to help people travel better and easier. Yeah. And in the meantime, also running our own experiments, either in or out of travel to see what works. Because without trip planning, now we have some more time to take a step back and for us to reevaluate as well what is next. Yeah. Yeah, the last couple of months has, I think, been a really good time to, I guess, look at things much more closely and maybe get rid of things that are not working and focus on the things that. So it's been a good reflection point, and so it sounds like that's what you guys have been doing. Yes. So I've always been sort of fascinated by your interest in like adventure travel. Because you did quite a bit of adventure travel in Southeast Asia as well, right? And where did this interest come from? Because you seem to have lived a normal Singaporean like life growing up. Seems very standard. But then you sort of like broke out and did something which is, I guess, non-standard, if that's the right term. Like, how did that happen? Was that something innate within you from the very beginning? Can you like talk to us a little bit about that? I'm not sure, but when I was younger, I was quite lucky to travel a lot with family. But we always go to the same places, right? Like Hong Kong, Disneyland, take a photo of this, take a photo of that. So that wasn't what I liked. So I hated travel until I got older and I could do it on my own. Then in Polytechnic, doing my diploma, after graduation, we were planning for a grad trip. And then all my friends had ideas like, okay, Taiwan, Korea, but nothing really took flight after.
Yeah.
Then we just gave up on planning. And I said, okay, screw it, I'm going to India alone. So I
That's
just went.
right, you went to India alone. Yeah.
So I just,
right.
on Couchsurfing, I found some hosts. I just went and everyone freaked out. And yeah, I went and it was awesome. And here we are.
Which cities in India did you go to?
I did Delhi, Darjeeling, Mumbai. We did like a hike to Nepal and back, and a couple others.
But you did a hike from India to Nepal. That
from
must have been
Darjeeling to the Himalayas border. Yeah, so we just walked through the border and did a hike.
Yeah.
So I think similar to all my trips, I did not know those places existed.
Right.
Yeah, it was just on Couchsurfing. Whoever seems cool wants to take me in. And then we connect, and I just get adopted by them.
Yeah. Well, we've had a few people we've spoken to who have I did Couchsurfing, but like Sia, she did a lot of Couchsurfing solo, and she talks a little bit about her experiences, which seems to mostly be very, very positive. What was your Couchsurfing experience in India as a single woman? What was that experience like?
Honestly, it was amazing. I think I was extremely lucky because we've all heard horror stories as well, no matter where in the world.
Right.
But people accepted me, and also because I did not look like them or how they perceive women.
Yeah.
So I was much younger, like 20, really small and thin and frail looking and super short hair, wearing shorts. Yeah. So that was already different.
Yeah.
Like I remember sitting on the train in short, like Bermudas with my legs crossed.
Yeah.
And then there was a guy, like a priest maybe, across me who asked me to put my leg down. And then I was shocked, but of course I had to respect. I did it, but that was when they were like, hey, And they also had
that's a strange request.
and they had train compartments for women only. But when I went in, I felt so inferior because all the women were like beautiful with like long hair, saris, and everything, and I was just a kid there. So I think that's how they found me peculiar as well and adopted me. So everyone was very, very nice. Yeah. And helpful, and when I was just looking lost everywhere I went, people would stop and ask me where do I need to go and help me out. So I think I was very lucky.
Yeah, that's quite amazing when you're solo traveling.
Yes.
That people help. People are nice. I mean, I did 2 years of backpacking.
Awesome.
And I guess it's different as a guy, but my experience was that everyone was nice. I actually never met a bad person. I never went into a bad situation. It was constantly just good people helping you out, being, supporting you and taking you in. And I had just absolutely no bad experiences, which is sort of counterintuitive to what a lot of people think, right? Before they go solo traveling. So India, so you did some crazy adventure traveling in India. Where else have you done travel?
We did Myanmar, Vietnam, camped in like the world's largest cave ecosystem.
In Vietnam?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. Myanmar, Philippines, like some islands.
Yeah. Did you go to Boracay, El Nido?
I think we went to Cebu.
Yeah.
And a couple others whose names I forgot. But those were trips for Anywhr, like to do some research. But of course also like a holiday.
Yeah.
In Myanmar as well. Did almost the entire Myanmar in a loop. Yeah.
So you did the train.
I did a train, went to like Pa'an,
Yeah.
Sipor.
Yeah. And did you take the boat down the Irrawaddy?
No.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Nice.
So you take the train up to, I forget where, but then you take the boat down to Bagan.
Oh, nice.
And it's like a cargo ship, which goes down the river. It was amazing because it stops at every village, and people offload all of their like vegetables and whatnot, and then and it just stops in every village and goes down. Anna and I did that. It was absolutely amazing. It's just like a whole different world, untouched, really, right? I think Myanmar is probably one of the few countries still left where you can kind of really do some adventure traveling, right? Have you done Cambodia, Laos?
Not Laos, Cambodia, yeah.
Yeah. Thailand, islands.
Yeah.
What's this new island in the Philippines that everyone's talking about? Is it Siargao?
Siargao?
Yeah.
Yeah. We do send travelers there.
Yeah?
It's awesome. Yeah, Siargao.
I've never been, but I've seen photos. It looks amazing.
Beautiful.
It seems like the next Bali.
Yes. There's a lot in Philippines actually that we were so surprised. I honestly forgot the name, but we went there and we were so surprised that there are no resorts, no proper hotels. It's just backpackers and undeveloped. Yeah. But we were really surprised because it's so beautiful. Yeah. And there's no, like, as we were doing a recce trip to send travelers, so we have a checklist, right? Like travelers with luxury preferences, with preferences for more comfortable hotels, but there were none. And we really saw every single place there.
In Siargao?
Not Siargao, but this other island that I really can't remember the name. Yeah, we had like a little hostel-ish where you wake up by the beach in your own cabin, like a little hut. But there was really nothing much for luxury hospitality. Yeah. So really undeveloped.
I think Philippines has so many amazing adventure travel islands, and it's just it's unreal, beautiful. I mean, like I remember being in El Nido, going, this is the bluest water I've ever seen, and it's like affordable and cheap, and you take the water the propeller planes to the islands, and it's just. I love it.
Now I wanna. Oh no, I can't go. This is the wrong time to talk about travel.
I know. Did you ever travel in South America?
No, that is the next on my list. Actually, yes, definitely next on my list. South America.
That's a fun place to travel.
Awesome.
Like I think it's a bit different than Southeast Asia because it's a little more developed and but still like amazing. So you want to do South America? Have you done Africa?
No.
So you still have quite a bit of places to go to.
I'm saving, and now we can't. Yeah. But yeah, so have friends in both continents. So yeah, looking forward to go back soon. Yeah. And now that Anywhr, it's we took the entire company remote. Yeah. We wanted to do it for some time, and then COVID, so we were like, okay, remote. So we were able to hire a lot of great people from around the world. Yeah. And it's a good excuse for me to also travel. Yeah. So I'll be like maybe in a Draper Startup House in different continents every time.
That's the whole idea. How many people do you have in the company?
Right now, about a dozen.
Okay. And which countries are they located in?
So we have in Singapore, we have people in Vietnam, India, the UK, Scotland, and America.
Wow. And what are the functions of these people in the US and the UK?
We have content writers, engineers, our head of engineering. Yeah.
Wow. And are these all sort of like full-time employees, or are they like freelancers that you work with?
Yeah, it's a mix of full-time and interns and freelancers. Yeah, it's a mix.
Yeah. So it sounds like you still, your company is well positioned, you're capitalized during COVID, you have ideas on how to sort of navigate this in the future. Are you sort of optimistic about how everything is going to play out, or are you sort of on the fence?
I guess more of pragmatic. Yeah. Yeah, because when COVID hit, in Singapore, everyone was optimistic, right? Mm-hmm. And then only the analysts said it will take 4 years, 5 years to recover. But now you see that we are slowly recovering, but we are trying our best. Yeah. And like you said, we're kind of lucky to be well positioned in a way to have the team and the people to support us. Yeah. So yeah. That's
great. I know you have to run because you have a dinner. Yes. But I think we still have a little bit of time. Yeah. So I want to talk more about the travel, the travel stuff. In Europe, why did you pick the Nordics as opposed to Italy and Greece and?
So this is an interesting question because my French colleague, Mauritian French colleague in Rocket, actually, she told me that it's interesting because in Asia, a lot of people think that Scandinavia is interesting and exotic. Yeah. Whereas for the Europeans, they think that Italy, Spain, and Greece are where they are most attracted to. And she doesn't understand why, neither do I. Yeah. But I think it just sounds interesting. Mm-hmm. And it's also a cheap ticket to the furthest place, the cheapest furthest. So I did like a 36-hour transit and like 4 layovers. My mom thought something happened to me, that kind of thing. So I just ended up where I did not know anything. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think that travel as we know it, or as we knew it when you were, backpacking, when I was backpacking, do you think that sort of travel, we just sort of hop on a low-cost carrier and fly to an island, don't even think twice, you think that's going to come back? And when, like, where are you guys at the company sort of estimating when that will come back?
So we think that it will come back. I mean, everyone hopes as well, but I don't think so soon, because like Thailand now, they're only taking in people with money to spend.
That's right.
That's like, if my country is gonna infect it with COVID again, I'd rather get more revenue from it.
Yeah, which is smart.
Yeah.
Right?
So I don't think so soon, but definitely it has to somehow.
Right. So you're saying travel will come back, but it'll be more on the high end, maybe more the luxury travel, which is more private, more safe, as opposed to the backpackers.
Or maybe not so much freedom of destination, because there's a pent-up demand, right? Everyone's dying to travel, just that we can't.
Right. Right. So you would say 3 years, 2 years?
Yeah.
Like around that time?
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, SIA says
No one
2024 or something, right? So no one knows, but Singapore looks optimistic for now. And it depends, because a lot of countries are taking in people, but no one is going there, like some African countries as well. Yeah.
Right. And so earlier you mentioned that with Anywhr, you guys are also looking at other areas of business which may not be fully travel.
Yeah.
Are you able to tell us what areas?
I'll tell you offline.
Offline, okay.
There are more experiments, because during the lockdown in Singapore, we launched the Keep Singapore United gift box.
Yeah.
The sole purpose was actually just to support small local businesses, because a lot of people have completely shut down and they are not online.
Right.
So like they closed stores, a lot of places near where I live closed down, and we saw reports over Facebook, please save this store, please save this store.
Yeah.
So we launched the gift box to ship locally curated items to people who want to cheer their friends up, or companies who want to encourage their team now that everyone was working from home.
Yeah.
And it was extremely popular that we couldn't keep up. So I was packing thousands of boxes in my living room, and while doing my own work at the same time. So even government organizations ordered from us, big corporates, or friends, and we had personalized messages.
Yeah.
So, and I wrote the messages by hand because I didn't even have a printer. It was locked down. I couldn't. Yeah. So the messages were really touching, and it's really beautiful. Gives me some hope during lockdown. So that was something we realized, hey, people need this kind of thing now.
Yeah.
And so maybe we can explore newer things to give and help.
Right. And what advice would you give to other startups who may be in industries that are not very favorably looked upon during these times? Because you were very successful in raising capital from, I guess Quest is I suppose it's like a good,
amazing.
It's a good fund. What advice would you give to other startups who may be fundraising during these difficult times in industries that are on the fringes of what's happening in the world? Any tips you've picked up along the way?
I guess it's to take a step back and go back to basics, because right now then we had a research team who did a lot of in-depth research, look back at our past 4 years of data that we collected, and also external research, and see how valid they are and what we can make use of it. So taking a step back, it's the cliche, right? One step back, 2 steps forward, help us a lot.
So taking a step back, as in taking a step back from fundraising and understanding what is it that you guys, that company is really doing and the value they have, or what do you mean by taking a step back?
I guess more operations, the first principles, and not just be stubborn and go headstrong. If 4 years ago we said, okay, surprise trip will forever be surprise trips, then right now we'll be dead. Right? Yeah. So it's how will we move forward from here, and maybe think of partners that we have never thought of before.
Right. So partnering up with airlines was probably a very good thing to do, which showed the investors that, hey, they have the ability to do partnerships with Singapore Airlines or whatever airlines, right? So Okay, so take a step back. What else? Like, how about like approaching companies? You said that you had built relationships way in advance, right? So it wasn't like a last minute sort of scramble. You were sort of fundraising and building relationships way before you actually needed to fundraise. Is that correct to say?
But I guess for us, because we're not the most experienced founders, so it's always learning, like talking to people like you. You know, we talk at events here, learning from people, just learning as much as we can. And every meeting, all of our team members will just bring together ideas that we have, got inspired from other people or things that other people have shared and told us. More experienced people, founders, operators, friends. And a lot of things are all from what we learn. Yeah, actually, like reading on the internet, what people from other countries are doing, talking to our friends.
And when you look at other companies in the travel industry, or it may not have to be in the travel industry, like any companies in general, are there any specific companies that you look up to learn from in terms of sort of benchmarking what you're doing today and where you want to take your company? Any specific companies, it could be in your industry, outside of industry, that you sort of follow and look at?
I guess different types of things, we will look at different companies. So for example, remote culture, GitLab does amazing, right? They have a huge handbook, everything, transparency.
Right.
And then if you want to compare like company principles, then you look at people who have done it well. So
GitHub is a company that you sort of look at and
remote work at first, because they have a good handbook, they document everything, they share everything. And then if you look at culture or communications, you can see like Airbnb, how they did the retrenchment, the layoffs so gracefully. I think about it all the time as well. Or like, so different aspects, different things.
Right. Yeah, lately I've been looking at Starbucks as a company that like I admire, and as a company that I want to learn from, because of their, we're in a very operations heavy business, and the way they've been able to really systematically create seamless operational experience, because it's a very operationally heavy business, and the way they've been able to do it through good company culture, profitable company, very profitable company, long-term thinking. It's a company that I'm like very much like admire. In terms of your attitude towards luck versus hard work, has that been? You seem to have worked really hard, but you seem to also have. I mean, we all get have luck to sort of thank for. What's your thoughts on luck versus hard work?
I mean, I'm gonna say the cliche, right? The harder you work, the luckier you get.
Right.
Yeah. But also, it's also about privilege, or like having the privilege to fail, or like with no bills to pay or no family to support. Then that makes me a lot luckier or more privileged than other people as well.
Right.
Or like even being in Singapore. During COVID, we get government grants, we get help, we get resources, we even get good internet connection, for example.
Right.
As compared to people in maybe even other continents. When I did an interview with a candidate who was really eager to learn, he said, I'm really willing to even work for free, blah, 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 but he doesn't have a proper internet connection to even do calls. Right. So I think it's privilege as well as luck, hard work, everything.
Yeah, that's so true. I was on a Draper Startup House sort of conference in Myanmar the other day, and we were talking about exactly about this, because everyone's working from home. And these people, actually a lot of them were students, they were saying, like, remote work is great, but not everyone has the, as you said, like basics of like good internet connection or a good laptop to work off of. And we take that so much for granted. So I completely agree with you that we forget that most of the world is not as privileged as you and I, right, are. And it's good to have that reminder all the time. And then in terms of, oh, by the way, I saw you, like, I use Xero for like our accounting. Like, we use Xero as in the company, and every time we log in, we see your face on it. Like, what's that all about?
So, we use Xero, and then they had a campaign. They approached us we are free. So yeah, we did a whole like advertising campaign with them.
Right.
We don't get paid, so it's not my job,
Yeah.
not taxable. Yeah, so
But do they credit Anywhr? They
Yeah.
credit you guys, and it's good for awareness for your company.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to help, startups help startups. We
Yeah.
learn a lot from their very professional creative team.
Right.
Very impressed. So I was on bus stops, buses,
Yeah.
on their zero, I think annual conference, someone sent me a photo, like just stock model, free stock model.
Yeah. No,
So that's very
it's great though. I loved it because it's a product that we use. We love Zero, and
Awesome.
I actually I don't even know where they're from, but it's a great product. Where
New
is it?
Zealand?
They're from New Zealand. Wow. I would have not thought.
amazing company.
Yeah. But I think a piece of us likes Zero more because there's like this personal connection because we see Euro photos. We're like, we know Zelia, and so maybe inherently somewhere in between, like inside it triggers like,
Nice.
it's a good product because
wow.
I mean, it is a good product, but I'm sure there is that emotional component.
Nice.
So that was just sort of a partnership
Yeah.
for like branding and
I think they just needed help, and they asked some of their customers, and we
Yeah.
are very happy customer of Zero as well, so
Yeah.
we help them.
Yeah. Okay. One last question. If you had to go back to the Zelia 4 years ago that started Anywhr, what advice would you give yourself as you were starting off that company? Because of course, when you start off, you make tons of
Need a
mistakes. Yeah. Please. Like we make so many mistakes, and then in hindsight, it's always nice to sort of go back and say, I would have done that, I would have not done that. Any specific advice you would give to yourself, if you went back 4 years ago?
I think a lot. A lot. Maybe not be so stubborn is one of it. So not be so stubborn in general.
Are you
But
stubborn in general?
I think maybe, I don't know.
I'll have to ask Felix or your employees.
I don't know, but maybe more of the business, because like again, the pivot from surprise trips, we were actually stubborn to, because we love the product, right? And they always say don't fall in love with your product.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe look at things in a broader way, but I don't know also because it's the experience that makes you who you are. So honestly, no regrets, but
maybe you would have been a bit more open-minded to ideas.
Maybe, but also it's the journey, because it's the first time we built a team, it's the first time we hire people, we are like managers, and we're really young. So I think so far we had a great journey. So
Great, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you
for sitting down with us.
Nice to see
I know you have a dinner, but I'm not like. First of all, I didn't even know you were around, so it's nice to know that you live down the road.
So I always pass, and then I'll tell my friends, hey, I know the people here, they're really cool, you should come by. But I didn't know you guys were in town. So but
well, this place was closed for a while, like in the thick of the circuit breaker and all that. We closed down the place, so we've reopened it recently.
I saw on your Instagram like you hired a new chef and
So we had Yadavan here. We had a whole cafe going. No longer. Some challenges with that. But we're here. Come by and come work from here. And
perfect.
Hopefully, when things open up a bit more, we can do some more events and
Awesome.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.